Hello everyone, Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee, and people have been asking me nicely to cut my hair. It is getting rather long and other people have asked, at least in the past, how I do my hair when I do it up. So I thought today I would cut my hair and I can show you how you can cut your hair. 2 easy ways to cut your hair if you have long hair. I could also demonstrate how to cut your hair if it was short, but I'm not going to cut my hair that short. I'm just going to trim it. So we'll talk about it a little bit and I'll give you the confidence to cut your own hair, which might come in handy. You need to know how to do things, right? First of all, I wanted to point out the reason I kept growing my hair when it needed so desperately for a trim is because I wanted to see if I could get it to my waist. It's never been long in my whole life. Probably to here is the longest it's ever been, because I was an actor and you had a headshot that you paid hundreds of dollars for, and when you walked in the door to the audition you needed to look like that. And having long, wavy, out of control hair was not your typical hairstyle for commercials or women my age, so the agent would always say, oh, you need to have your hair short. So I never got a chance to grow my hair. Now that I'm here, I do what I want, and I decided to let it grow. So as you can see back here, this is my waist, and so I did reach my goal. And so now I can trim it. And what I plan to do is trim off 2 inches, but whenever you're cutting hair, yourself, you cannot be real precise because you might find that you've gotten it a little shorter here and a little longer here, and you need to keep cutting until it's level. So the whole idea of cutting your hair is sort of like I was talking about the butterfly. You know, it comes out of the cocoon an absolute carbon copy on each side. It's split down the middle, so each wing is identical. The proboscis, which goes out, comes together into one after it's hatched, and everything is exactly the same on each side. So you want your hair symmetrical, unless you want some kind of crazy hairdo like some people wear today, but most people like to have their hair symmetrical. So you're gonna, especially if you're gonna have longer hair, you're gonna want to have the length in the front, the levels to match. Okay, so we're probably going to go for a level about like that. But first I need to wet my hair and then I can tell you more. I got a little wet, but let's get started. Oh, okay. So the first thing is to try and comb out my hair. Now, normally I use some leave-in conditioner, but today I'm going to use California extra virgin avocado oil. And hope this gives me some more condition. You know, my hair is very flyaway and wavy and frizzy and all of that. So let me work with it a little bit till I get it nice and smooth, and then we'll start cutting. Pretty straight. It has a little bit of conditioner and oil in it to keep it kind of wet longer, although this is going to be a very quick haircut. If you have slightly wavy hair like me, or very wavy hair, you're going to be tearing your hair out to get the tangles out. And it's just, and what happens is it gets thinner and thinner and thinner till it gets to the bottom, and you just got a little bit left. So basically, I am just going to bring all of this forward. When you bring it forward and you cut it, then when it goes back, it's longer in the back. So you can just imagine this part, which is the back, it's coming around to here, so it's going to get cut at the same level the front gets cut. So when it goes to the back, it'll be longer, and so it will just naturally be tapered. Okay, let's make our first cut. Make sure everything is here. Now, if you have a smock, that is ideal. I don't have one. I never planned to do a video cutting my hair, but here I am. So anyway, if you don't have a good pair of shears, don't worry about it. I use these cheap little, I think these were like from my sons when they were in kindergarten or grade school or something. I mean, they're just the cheapest little scissors. I cut my hair with these for years, and I finally just bought a pair recently. I have wavy hair, so as it dries, it gets harder to manage. And I'm going to start with 2 inches. So that's 2 inches. It's very uneven. So we're going to even it up. Now obviously if you have really thick hair, you may need to chop on it. It may not be such an easy little clip. You might have to do it a little more. But let's see how we did. It's the same. Okay, so I could stop there, but I wanted to demonstrate to you, it's always nice to take the top section of your hair, and I'm sure you'll recognize this from your hair cutter. This gets really a lot harder to do as your hair gets longer, because you simply cannot reach the end of your hair. You see how long that is? Gosh, that's very long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out like that. So hopefully, hopefully it comes off as an angle. You probably won't be cutting hair this long, so it's a lot easier to do. So once again, I'll pull it in and I'm going to take off 2 inches. Okay, so what that does is that just lifts up the back a little bit. And the one thing that I always do when I cut my hair is, and it doesn't matter what length of hair, you know, up to short really, is you take the front section I need my brush pretty soon, it's getting tangled. And this is how I used to do it when it was shorter. I think I've got a little bit too much on this side. It's hard to see. Yeah. So this is a great way to cut your bangs. And you need them nice and wet. And now this is where I would cut it when I had my hair short. I started down here and I went straight up to the tip of my nose. I started down here at the same level. Say, for example, you would start here, you know, So that's about the same. And then you literally just cut at an angle straight up to your nose. I'm not going to do that far because I don't want bangs. And the reason I don't want bangs is because they drive me crazy. But a little bit of, as long as I can get it into a ponytail, now that I'm gardening out here, I just have to have the hair off of my face. I have to. But you can see, I haven't had a haircut since August of 19. And that's over 3 years. But you can still see the angle. So I'm just going to go like that. I don't even think I got quite 2 inches off. Let's try that again. See, that's in the other section. Okay. Okay, let's measure. Okay, got this one a little bit short, so I'll come back. Okay, so what that does is it just gives you a little bit of softness around the face and a little bit of lift in the back, and basically there's your haircut. And of course you can do this at any kind of shorter level. I did want to point out that if you want more layers, if you're doing it shorter, like if your hair is like here and you're doing more layers, you just want to pull it back from your face and just, you know, cut it. I'm sorry, it's harder to, I don't want to have you destroy your hair, but it's actually very easy to pull it up, and you always want to cut it at a little bit of an angle. You see the angle of the scissors? Instead of cutting it like that, when you pulled it out like this, you need to cut it at a little bit of an angle. And that way, when you let it go, the very top hair is separated from the lower hair by 1/4 of an inch. And it just gives you a little bit more fullness and softness. And so now I want to demonstrate very quickly how I do the hairdo that people have remarked about. And this works with shorter hair. As long as you can twist it, all of your hair up, it will work. And what you do is you just pull it out and twist it. And you can do this neater or sloppier. You can do this with dry hair or wet, although if you do it with wet hair, you wind up with some nice waves when it is dry. So I just put that there for temporary. If it's long enough, you can weave this side into this side. It's not weaving, it's just twisting. So that extra 2 inches that I had really made this, you know, adding this side possible. And then you just kind of shape it like that. And then there's always the question of what to do with this, you know. And I try to just, you know, you can keep twisting it and then just tuck it in the back. And then you've got your other clip. And you can move this clip to include the front, so it's even and symmetrical. And that's, you know, for a 5-minute hairdo, it's not bad. I have been coloring my own hair since 1997. It's very easy to do, but before that I had highlights. I was a working actor in New York. Everyone had highlights. I found a great gal. She was booked solid. And when I moved to LA, she decided to come out to LA because Barbara Streisand wanted her to do her highlights. So she would do mine when she came out. She was $250 by that time. And you've got to do it 2 or 3 times a year. So I said, I can't afford this, forget this. So in 97, I had shoulder length hair. And in 97, I went to New York to audition for something. And I got a very short haircut. And it was a very 30s style. I'll put the picture on screen. I absolutely loved it, and I started dyeing my hair. It was more of a light brown, reddish color, and I even had that same color when I started my channel, you may recall. But as every woman knows, at some point you have to start going lighter because you start getting gray. I have been using the same brand, and I believe the price didn't change for at least 20 years. It may still be the same. It was $14.95 for at least two decades, and it's called Nature Color. And they have one line to cover gray and one line to cover regular non-grayed hair. I mix the two together to get kind of a custom look. At some point I may decide to stop altogether also, but I just thought you might find that interesting because if you really need to save money, you can easily color your own hair. It is not a big deal and you don't have to fear it, especially when you have a product that is non-toxic. If you want that whole shag look like Farrah Fawcett made famous back in the 80s, it is so easy to do. If you have long hair and you're just tired of just that boring long thing and you want layers and you want it to flow, you pull all of your hair over and pull it into a ponytail right here on your pineal gland, and you make a cut. You make one cut right there, and you take the rubber band out and you let it go down. And I did that to a girl in college. She was in my dorm, and she had beautiful, long, thick, black hair. And she wanted me to do it, and I did it, and it was fabulous. So that's something else you can do, and that's an even easier haircut. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time.